Your tea is poisoning you, and the companies making it know exactly what they are doing. That box you bought yesterday contains ingredients that release billions of plastic particles into every cup. Those are things that have been linked to endocrine disruption, cancer risk, and reproductive toxicity. But here in America, they are perfectly legal. In the next 20 minutes, I am going to expose exactly which 7 tea brands you need to avoid and why. I will show you what is really in them, what it is doing to your body, and most importantly, what you should be buying instead. By the end of this, you will never brew the same cup again. Number 7. Tetley. I know what you are thinking. Tetley is a household name. Your grandmother probably drank it. That British heritage logo feels trustworthy. And you are right, it is everywhere. That is exactly why we need to talk about it. Look at a standard Tetley tea bag. That convenient little sachet you are steeping in boiling water is not just paper. Tetley Pure Green Tea was found in a 2014 CBC investigation to contain pesticide residues including endosulfan. This pesticide has been banned by the United States, China, the European Union, and 144 other countries because it may impair fertility and cause harm to unborn children. But here is the disturbing part. When tea is not washed before packaging, those pesticides go directly into your cup. The leaves themselves are not the only problem. Many Tetley tea bags contain polypropylene, a type of plastic used to seal the bags so they do not fall apart in hot water. When you pour boiling water over these bags, you are creating the perfect conditions for plastic to break down. A 2019 study from McGill University found that steeping a single plastic tea bag at brewing temperature releases approximately 11.6 billion microplastic particles and 3.1 billion nanoplastic particles into your cup. 11 billion particles from one tea bag. These microscopic plastic fragments are small enough to enter your bloodstream. Research has linked microplastic exposure to inflammation, disrupted hormone function, and damage to organs. Your body cannot break down or eliminate these particles. They accumulate over time. Tetley markets itself as a trusted, traditional choice. They put images of peaceful tea plantations on their packaging. But when independent labs test their products, the story changes. The reality is that conventional tea from major producers is grown in regions where pesticide regulation is minimal. Countries like China, India, and Sri Lanka produce most of the world's tea. In these regions, farmers spray crops with chemicals that would be illegal to use in the United States. But when that tea crosses the border, it enters our supply chain with minimal testing. The Food and Drug Administration Pesticide Monitoring Program collects samples at entry points. Between 2008 and 2012, nearly 30% of tea samples had 2 or more illegal residues. One sample from 2012 contained 14 violations, 14 different pesticide problems in a single batch of tea. Tetley's standard black and green teas also list natural flavors on their ingredient panels. This sounds harmless. Natural must mean good, right? Wrong. Under Food and Drug Administration regulations, natural flavors can include anything derived from a plant, animal, or mineral source. That includes compounds extracted using chemical solvents. The term natural flavors is so broad that it allows manufacturers to hide dozens of ingredients under a single label. These flavor compounds can contain solvents, emulsifiers, and preservatives, but you will never know exactly what you are consuming because companies classify these formulas as proprietary information. Number 6. Twinings. Twinings has been around since 1706. More than 300 years of tradition. They market themselves as refined, elegant, the tea of choice for discerning drinkers, but age does not equal purity. Independent testing has found concerning levels of pesticides in multiple Twinings varieties. Their Earl Grey, English Breakfast, and Darjeeling teas have all appeared in studies showing pesticide contamination. One Greenpeace report testing tea from major producers found that Twinings products contained traces of chemicals, including monocrotophos and chlorpyrifos. Monocrotophos is classified as highly hazardous by the World Health Organization. It is an organophosphate insecticide that affects the nervous system. Exposure can cause headaches, dizziness, confusion, and in severe cases, respiratory failure. Chlorpyrifos is even worse. This neurotoxic pesticide was developed by Dow Chemical. Studies have linked it to developmental delays in children, reduced IQ, and attention problems. The European Union banned chlorpyrifos in 2020 because of these risks, yet it still shows up in tea imported to the United States. The disturbing reality is that tea leaves are incredibly absorbent. They soak up whatever chemicals are sprayed on the plants and whatever contaminants exist in the soil. Tea plantations in China are often located near highways and industrial zones. Vehicle emissions deposit lead and other heavy metals onto leaves. Polluted soil transfers aluminum, cadmium, and arsenic into the plant roots. When you steep a Twinings tea bag, you are extracting all of these accumulated toxins into hot water. A 2013 study published in the Journal of Toxicology found that over 70% of teas tested contained very high levels of lead. 20% had aluminum and other metals. The concentration was high enough that researchers recommended public health warnings for pregnant women and nursing mothers. Lead is especially dangerous because it accumulates in bones and can remain in the body for decades. It interferes with brain development in children and can cause kidney damage, high blood pressure, and cognitive decline in adults. Twinings also uses the term natural flavoring in several of their specialty blends. Like other major tea companies, they do not disclose what these natural flavors actually are. They could be extracted using hexane, a petroleum-derived solvent. They could contain artificial colors masked as natural. You simply do not know. The tea bags themselves present another issue. While Twinings has stated they are moving toward fully biodegradable bags by 2025, many of their current products still contain polylactic acid, PLA. This is a plant-based plastic derived from cornstarch. Companies market PLA as eco-friendly and better than petroleum-based plastic. But here's what they do not tell you. PLA is still plastic. It may be derived from plants, but once processed, it behaves like any other polymer. When exposed to hot water, PLA can release particles into your tea. There are no comprehensive safety studies on consuming PLA nanoparticles. We simply do not know the long-term health effects. What we do know is that your body was not designed to process plastic in any form. Number 5. Bigelow. Bigelow is an American family-owned company that has been operating since 1945. They emphasize their American roots and traditional values. Their packaging features folksy imagery and reassuring messages about quality. But traditional does not mean safe. Bigelow tea bags contain epichlorohydrin, a chemical used to strengthen paper and to prevent the bags from breaking apart when wet. Epichlorohydrin is classified as a probable human carcinogen by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. When this chemical comes into contact with boiling water, it converts to a compound called 3-MCPD. 3-MCPD has been shown in animal studies to cause damage to kidneys, lower fertility rates, and potentially trigger cancer. The Environmental Protection Agency allows up to 20 parts per million of epichlorohydrin in drinking water. Tea bags treated with this chemical can contain 50 parts per million. That is more than twice the level considered acceptable in your tap water. You are essentially steeping your tea in a bag treated with a carcinogenic compound. Many of Bigelow's flavored teas list natural flavors as an ingredient. Their lemon ginger, vanilla chai, and constant comment varieties all rely on these undisclosed flavor additives. As we have discussed, natural flavors can be produced through fractional distillation and chemical manipulation. They can originate from crude oil derivatives that technically qualify as natural under FDA guidelines, because petroleum comes from ancient organic matter. Does that sound like something you want in your evening cup of tea? Bigelow also sources tea from China and other countries with minimal pesticide oversight. While they claim to test their ingredients, they do not publish detailed reports or allow independent third-party verification. You are expected to trust their internal quality control, but we have seen repeatedly that corporate self-regulation often fails when profit margins are at stake. The accumulation effect is what concerns me most about Bigelow. One cup will not harm you, but if you are drinking 3 cups a day, every day, for years, you are exposing yourself to thousands of doses of epichlorohydrin, microplastics, pesticide residues, and hidden flavor chemicals. Over a lifetime, that adds up to a significant toxic burden on your liver, kidneys, and immune system. Number 4. Tazo. Tazo was founded in 1994 and markets itself as bold and unconventional, inspired by global tea traditions. The packaging is colorful and exotic, and the flavor names sound adventurous. Starbucks acquired Tazo in 1999 and later sold it to Unilever in 2017. What remains consistent across these ownership changes is the use of questionable ingredients. Tazo teas contain natural and artificial flavors. Unlike other brands we have discussed that hide behind the natural flavors label, Tazo openly admits to using artificial flavoring. These synthetic compounds are created in laboratories through chemical processes. They are designed to mimic natural tastes but are derived from petrochemicals. Artificial flavors have been linked to allergic reactions, hyperactivity in children, and potential carcinogenic effects when consumed regularly over time. Some countries have banned certain artificial flavorings in food products. In the United States, the FDA maintains a list of thousands of approved flavor additives with minimal safety testing required. Tazo's pyramid tea bags appear more premium than standard flat bags. They are designed to allow tea leaves more room to expand and release flavor. But these pyramid bags are often made from nylon or polyethylene terephthalate, also known as PET. Both are plastics. Both release particles when heated. The McGill University study I mentioned earlier specifically tested pyramid-style tea bags made from PET. Those were the bags that released 11.6 billion microplastic particles per cup. Pyramid bags look sophisticated, but they are essentially plastic mesh pouches that break down in your hot water. Tazo also uses tea from China, where a 2012 Greenpeace investigation found that 17 different tea samples contained anywhere from 3 to 17 types of pesticides. Every single sample was contaminated. The report specifically called out international brands for failing to ensure their Chinese suppliers met safety standards. When you buy Tazo, you are rolling the dice on whether your particular batch was properly vetted. The company does not provide transparency about which farms supply their tea or what testing protocols they use. You are left trusting that a corporation focused on maximizing shareholder value prioritized your health over their profit margin. Here's what really bothers me about Tazo. They charge premium prices. Their teas cost significantly more than generic store brands. Consumers pay extra because they believe they are getting higher quality, but the ingredients list tells a different story. You are paying for marketing, colorful packaging, and exotic flavor names, not for purity or safety. If you are finding this information valuable, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I am exposing the truth about everyday products that most people buy without thinking twice. Trust me, what is coming next is even more shocking. Number 3. Celestial Seasonings. Celestial Seasonings was founded in 1969 on the belief that all natural herbal teas could help people live healthier lives. They built their brand on images of peaceful meadows, wholesome ingredients, and a commitment to wellness. That marketing was very effective. For decades, Celestial Seasonings dominated the herbal tea market. Then in 2013, everything changed. An independent analytical testing company called Eurofins was commissioned to test 11 varieties of Celestial Seasonings teas. The results were devastating. 91% of the samples contained pesticide residues that either exceeded federal tolerance levels or included chemicals for which no regulatory limit had been established under federal law. 91%. That is 10 out of 11 products failing basic safety standards. Specific varieties tested included Sleepytime Herbal Tea, Sleepytime Kids Goodnight Grape, Green Tea Peach Blossom, Green Tea Raspberry Gardens, Authentic Green Tea, Antioxidant Max Dragon Fruit, Antioxidant Max Blood Orange, Antioxidant Max Blackberry Pomegranate, and English Breakfast Black. The children's tea was one of the worst offenders. Sleepytime Kids Goodnight. Grape herbal tea contained 0.26 parts per million of propochlor. Propochlor is listed as a known carcinogen under California's Proposition 65. This is a tea marketed specifically to children. Parents were giving this to their kids at bedtime, believing it would help them sleep peacefully. Instead, they were dosing them with a cancer-causing pesticide. The wellness line of teas also tested positive for pipargite, another known carcinogen and developmental toxin. These are products with wellness in the name, products that promise to support your health, containing chemicals that damage developing fetuses and trigger tumor growth. The Eurofins test results were made public in a report by Glaucus Research, an investment firm. Celestial Seasonings' parent company, Hain Celestial, responded by claiming the report was motivated by financial gain because Glaucus was short-selling Hain stock. But here's the critical fact they could not dispute. The testing was conducted by an independent, accredited laboratory. Samples were shipped directly from Celestial Seasonings' website to the lab. No one tampered with the products. The contamination was real. A class action lawsuit was filed against Hain Celestial, alleging that labeling the teas as 100% natural while they contained pesticides constituted false advertising. The lawsuit proceeded through federal court. Hain's motion to dismiss was denied. The judge ruled that plaintiffs had sufficient grounds to claim they were deceived by the natural labeling. Celestial Seasonings commissioned their own testing through National Food Lab after the scandal broke. National Food Lab reported detecting no pesticides in brewed Celestial Seasonings teas. Notice the careful wording, in brewed teas. They tested the liquid after steeping, not the dry tea leaves where pesticides accumulate. It is a classic corporate deflection. Test in a way that minimizes what you will find, then claim your products are safe. The FDA had previously issued warning letters to Celestial Seasonings regarding quality control issues at their Boulder, Colorado facility. Multiple violations, multiple warnings. Yet the company continued operating and selling products with minimal changes to their sourcing or testing protocols. Celestial Seasonings also uses natural flavors extensively across their product line. Those same undefined, potentially chemical-laden flavor compounds we have discussed. When a company that has already been caught with excessive pesticides also hides ingredients behind vague labels, that is a pattern of behavior you should be very concerned about. Number 2. Teavana. Teavana was founded in 1997 and grew into a popular mall-based tea retailer. They positioned themselves as premium, high-end, offering an experiential approach to tea shopping. Employees would open giant canisters of loose-leaf tea, wave the aroma toward customers, tout the health benefits, and use sophisticated sales techniques to convince people to spend $50 to $100 on tea they did not plan to buy. Starbucks acquired Teavana for $620 million in late 2012. Just weeks before the acquisition, Glaucus Research released a damning report. They sent 13 of Teavana's higher-end teas to an accredited laboratory in Germany for pesticide testing. 100% of the teas tested positive for pesticides. Every single one. Many of the pesticides found are known human carcinogens. Monkey-picked oolong, one of Teavana's most expensive and popular teas, was the most contaminated. It contained 23 different pesticides, 23 in a single product. 62% of Teavana teas tested showed traces of endosulfan, the pesticide we discussed earlier that has been banned by 144 countries for its fertility-damaging effects. 77% of Teavana teas failed to meet European Union safety standards. Some contained pesticides that have been banned for years. The testing revealed that Teavana was sourcing tea from Chinese suppliers with no effective quality control. They made claims about meeting European standards but could not provide documentation or name which specific standards they were referencing. When pressed, they offered vague reassurances but no actual evidence. This is a company that charged premium prices, often $20 to $40 per tin of tea, while sourcing from the cheapest possible suppliers and adding massive markups. But the pesticide issue was not even Teavana's only problem. The majority of Teavana's product line contained artificial flavoring, not natural flavors. Ingredients produced through fractional distillation and chemical manipulation of petroleum-derived compounds. If Teavana's tea was genuinely high quality, why would it need artificial flavoring? Real, properly grown and processed tea has natural complexity and depth of flavor. Artificial flavoring is added to mask inferior quality and create artificial taste profiles that get people to buy more. Teavana's business model was built on deception. Create an elaborate shopping experience, use exotic names, charge premium prices, and hide the fact that the actual product is contaminated, artificially flavored, and sourced as cheaply as possible. After the pesticide scandal, Teavana never issued a comprehensive response or changed their sourcing practices in any meaningful public way. They simply continued operating. In 2017, Starbucks announced they would close all 379 Teavana retail stores. The mall-based business model was failing. But here is the disturbing part. Teavana products did not disappear. Starbucks continues selling Teavana-branded teas in their coffee shops and through grocery stores. The same teas that tested positive for 23 pesticides are still on shelves. Different packaging, same sourcing, same problems. Number 1. Lipton. And here we are, the worst offender. Lipton is the most widely consumed tea brand in the United States and one of the largest globally. Owned by Unilever, Lipton generates billions in annual revenue. That massive scale is exactly why we need to talk about what is in their products. Lipton tea bags contain plastic. The company has admitted that their standard tea bags are mostly paper with a small percentage of plastic to bind them together. Their pyramid tea bags are made entirely from PET plastic. When you steep a Lipton tea bag in boiling water, you release billions of microplastic and nanoplastic particles into your cup. These particles are invisible. You cannot see them. You cannot taste them. But they are there, and you are drinking them. Studies have linked microplastic consumption to cardiovascular disease, stroke, and early death. Animal studies show connections to insulin resistance, disrupted immune function, endocrine disruption, impaired reproductive health, and cancer development. We are only beginning to understand the full scope of damage these particles cause, but the evidence so far is alarming enough that you should avoid any product that deliberately exposes you to them. Lipton teas have also tested positive for pesticides in multiple independent studies. Their yellow label black tea, clear green tea, and Darjeeling varieties all appeared in contamination reports. The Greenpeace investigation into Chinese tea found Lipton products from China contained numerous pesticide residues. The report specifically recommended that consumers only purchase certified organic tea to avoid these chemicals. Lipton's response was to point out that their pesticide levels were within legal limits. But as we have discussed, Legal limits do not mean safe limits. The EPA sets tolerance levels based on agricultural practices, not on the latest health research. These limits were established years ago, and they do not account for the cumulative effect of consuming multiple pesticides simultaneously across different food products throughout your lifetime. Lipton also uses natural flavors in many of their specialty teas. Those undefined flavor compounds could contain anything from bug-derived coloring agents to chemical solvents. When a company as large as Unilever refuses to disclose exactly what natural flavors mean in their products, that should raise serious red flags. Here's what makes Lipton the worst. They have the resources to do better. Unilever is a multinational corporation with annual revenues exceeding 60 billion euros. They could afford to source organic tea. They could afford to use plastic-free tea bags. They could afford to be transparent about ingredients, but they choose not to. They choose cheap sourcing, cheap materials, and maximum profit margins. They market Lipton as an everyday affordable choice for regular people. Families buy it by the box. Offices stock it in their kitchens. Restaurants serve it. Millions of people consume Lipton tea multiple times a day without realizing they are ingesting plastic particles, pesticide residues, and undefined chemical flavors. The scale of the problem makes it the worst. When one person drinks contaminated tea, that is bad. When millions of people drink it daily for decades, that is a public health crisis hiding in plain sight. Lipton has been around since 1890. More than 130 years of brand recognition and trust. Consumers assume that longevity equals quality, but age does not equal safety. It just means they have been doing the same thing for a very long time. Okay, I know that was heavy. You might be looking at your kitchen right now thinking, what am I supposed to drink? Don't worry, there are genuinely good options out there. Look for tea from companies that are USDA certified organic. Since pesticide use is prohibited on organic crops, you eliminate that entire category of contamination. Check that tea bags are explicitly labeled plastic-free. Brands like Numi Tea, Traditional Medicinals, and Pique Tea have committed to using only unbleached paper or plant-based materials that do not release particles. Avoid any tea listing natural or artificial flavors unless the company provides full transparency about what those terms mean. Pure tea made from actual tea leaves or herbs does not need added flavoring. If you are buying tea bags, look for products that specifically state they are free of epichlorohydrin. Several companies including Stash Tea and Republic of Tea have made this commitment and will confirm it if you contact them. Or go with loose leaf tea. This eliminates the tea bag problem entirely. You can use a stainless steel infuser, a ceramic strainer, or a glass teapot. Loose leaf tea is often higher quality, provides more flavor, and gives you complete control over what goes into your cup. You can also support small independent tea companies that source directly from farmers and conduct third-party testing. These businesses typically charge more, but you are paying for actual quality and transparency. The goal is not to never drink tea again. The goal is to drink tea that supports your health rather than slowly undermining it. Tea has genuine benefits when it comes from clean sources. Antioxidants, anti-inflammatory compounds, mental clarity, relaxation. These benefits only matter if your tea is not simultaneously exposing you to plastics, pesticides, and carcinogens. So what do you think? Are you drinking any of these brands right now? Have you noticed how you feel after switching to cleaner tea? Drop a comment because I genuinely want to know your experience. If this opened your eyes, share it with someone who needs to see it. Your family, your friends, anyone drinking these brands without knowing what is really inside.